You know this debug console you have an escape menu in a single player. Obviously you don't get it in a multiplayer, but you can have it in a multiplayer, um, which is a little bit of pain to work with, especially if you want to keep your mission files PBO'd. But you know what I mean, right? And the plus in the multiplayer doesn't really work. It could be an Epoch thing, I don't know. It doesn't really work. And the one thing we like about this debug menu, or two things actually, is that one, we can execute code, and two, we can watch the variables. And so because it stopped working for me a while ago, I decided to create my own tools, that doesn't break every time there's a fucking update. So that's what I'm gonna show you now quickly. So one is, it's the code editor. We've already seen this before, obviously. I'm not gonna go into it. It's all tabbed, so you can save multiple tabs. That was one of the biggest downsides to that debug console, because you would have to cut your text out and save it in a notepad or something. I just fucking hated that, man. So there we go. Now we're saving it, and plus this thing obviously can be put anywhere on the screen. Enabled by Control Enter, and also disabled by Control Enter. Supports multiple lines with the Shift Enter. And the second addition is the variable watcher. Okay, so again, same idea. You drag it around the screen, put it anywhere you want. I don't know why I called it watcher. It should be more like a variable monitor, really, because that's what it does. It monitors variables. And we have a couple of fade options. We can, decrease the opacity of the still, so you can see through better. And basically, you can only from this menu you can only add variables, and we have a couple of different logics. So we have a code string, which is literally what it is, and it expects a variable returned. That's it, and that's what it watches. And then we have code boolean. Again, it can be because it's a code, you can actually type in a variable name, but it's gonna only work for mission namespace, obviously. And you can watch the variable or that way, or you can actually type in your own logic and watch the boolean that way. Progress bar, same idea as string and boolean, but it ranges from 0 to 1. A lot of things in ARMA are working from 0 to 1, but if you have ranges for like 0 to 10, you divide by 10, 0 to 100, you divide by 100 to get this progress bar to work. It's gonna refuse otherwise. Then we have mission namespaces. Namespaces, and we have mission namespace, UI namespace, and profile namespace. So you can. This is one of those things that was lacking in the debug monitor, or the debug console, and I hated it. Every time I wanted to see a UI namespace, I would have to go and get UI namespace, yada yada yada. So it was only working in mission namespace. So now these three are strings, which is the name of the variable. So these are not codes. It expects a variable to exist for it to work. So I'll demonstrate all of those. So we'll start with code string first, yeah? So we can, let's say, monitor position of the player. Right? So there it is. And now I can actually walk around without closing the dialog. But I can't look around. But I can still walk around. Right? And I can I don't know, change this to something else. Okay, so now it says 1, 2, 3. But you can also, by the way, select every single field. So if you want to get a variable output, you can copy it like that way. So now we change that. And one more feature before we go ahead is the pin icon here. So you can actually pin this thing, right? And then while it's unpinned, if you press F4, it's going to disappear because this is a display. Okay, so that's why we can't look around. We can only move a mouse. But if I pin it, okay, it's no longer display. It's actually a resource, cut resource thingy. So now I can actually look around and see my variables live. Press F4 again, and while it's pinned, I can just edit these things. Right. Another thing we can watch is something like this. Better not players in a vehicle, right? So there we go. I'm actually going to do a code string, and I am actually also going to do boolean at the same time. So you can see I am not in a vehicle, so both of them are false. If I walk in a vehicle, it sets to true. Obviously you don't have to do the boolean. It's only for visual representation. I mean, it's yeah, it's up to you really if you want to use it or not. And if you put in a wrong variable, like 1, I'm not sure why I can't change that. We have a bug. Oh wait, that's because I'm an idiot. So again, it knows that it's not a boolean, right? So it's gonna say, yo, what are you doing? You can also remove variables, obviously. Okay, before we go ahead, I'm just gonna add a lot of variables to show you how many you can add. You can actually add as many as you want, as much as you have a screen, enough screen space for them. Okay, so obviously you can delete any of them. You don't have to delete them all. Right, so I'm just gonna add this as a boolean instead. Something what we can do for the progress bar would be player health. So damage player. It's gonna be there we go. I've lost a little bit of health, so it's actually looking at the damage of the player, not like a health of the player. Health would be 0 at the if I was healthy. For the mission namespace, what we can look at is some kind of variable. I don't know, test 5. Yeah, and you can see that the test 5 is nil. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna quickly declare the variable equals 1, 2, 3. There you go. You can also delete the variable and it'll become nil again. That's pretty much everything, right? I mean, obviously for in the mission namespace, you look at mission namespace, UI namespace, and profile namespace. Profile namespace, it has to be a string. It has, the name of the variable, and these 3 can be codes. So let's see if I can sort of damage myself with this stupid guy. Just to show you the damage player thingy. If not, I'm just gonna use the code. No, of course not. Alright, let's use the code. So player set damage, no, 0.7. Yeah, to give you an idea what you can do. Poor fella. Right, thanks for watching.